My kid told me something crucial. When I discovered his mom was cheating on me, I found out my wife was cheating on me through a video my coworker sent of her getting back shots. I texted her phone asking if I should pick up dinner for the family because I got off work, but my coworker sent back a message. Don't worry, I'll make sure she's full. My hands shook as I drove home from work, trying to process that my wife, the mother of my child, not only betrayed me, but everything else we built. When I walked through the front door, my 8-year-old son Miles was sitting at the kitchen table, alone, surrounded by math worksheets. He looked up with frustrated eyes and said his homework was impossible. I just stared at him for a second, realizing I'm all he has. I forced myself to sit down next to him, even though I wanted to scream or punch a wall or just cry. I tried to focus on the math problems, but my vision kept blurring. Miles was working on converting fractions to decimals and getting more confused with each attempt. My throat felt tight, and I could feel tears building up behind my eyes. I picked up his pencil to show him how to divide the whatever number by the whatever number, but my hand was shaking too much to write clearly. "Dad, are you okay?" Miles asked, looking at my trembling hand. I told him I was just tired from work and tried again to write out the problem. But when I saw his mom's handwriting on a dentist note in his folder, I completely lost it. A tear rolled down my cheek before I could stop it. I quickly wiped it away and stood up. I couldn't do this. I physically couldn't sit here pretending everything was normal when his mom was getting dug into right now. I looked at Miles struggling with his homework and made a split-second decision. "Hey buddy, wanna take a break? Let's go get hot dogs." His face lit up immediately, and he jumped up from the table, abandoning his math homework without a second thought. We drove to the 7-Eleven down the street in silence. Miles was probably confused since I never took him out this late. I gripped the steering wheel hard, trying to keep myself together. Inside the gas station, Miles grabbed 2 of the biggest ones and loaded them up with chili and cheese from the dispensers. Then he spotted the nacho station and looked at me for my approval. I told him go ahead and watched him pile chips high with liquid cheese and jalapenos. Normally I'd lecture him about nutrition, but tonight I just paid for everything, including 2 large Slurpees. We sat in the car in the parking lot eating our junk food feast. Miles was in heaven getting cheese everywhere and telling me about some video game his friend had. I tried to smile and nod, but another tear escaped, then another. Pretty soon I was full on crying while holding a half-eaten hot dog. I turned away from Miles, embarrassed that he had to see me like this, but Miles put down his nachos and touched my arm gently. "Dad, it's okay to cry. Mrs. Whitney says crying helps get the sad out." I looked at my 10-year-old son covered in nacho cheese offering me comfort when his whole world was about to change. That made me cry even harder. He didn't know his parents were about to get divorced or that he'd have to choose who to live with. "Sometimes dads get sad too," Miles said while handing me a napkin. "Is it about work or is it about mom?" That stopped my tears. I stared at him, wondering how much he'd figured out. He shrugged and said, "She's been coming home super late, and you guys don't laugh together anymore." My kid was more observant than I'd given him credit for. I took a shaky breath and told him that mom and I were having some problems, that things might change soon, but I'd always be his dad no matter what. Miles nodded seriously, then asked if we could still have hot dog nights sometimes. I promised him we could have hot dog nights whenever he wanted. He smiled and went back to destroying his nachos. We sat there for another hour just talking and eating. Miles told me about school and his friends and had me open a Pokemon card pack on his phone. For a little while I forgot about the cheating and the divorce lawyers I'd have to call tomorrow. When we finally drove home, Miles fell asleep in the passenger seat with cheese still on his face. 6 months later, when the divorce was finalized, Miles chose to live with me. He said it was because I let him eat fun foods, but I knew it was more than that. Now we have hot dog nights every Friday, and I've been talking to his teacher, Mrs. Whitney, and I don't want to jinx things, but I'll be asking her out on a date soon.